Morning, everyone. This is Jay Mann, owner of Amada Senior Care. I'm here today with Kashif Mohammad of Covenant Columns. Kash, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you too.
I've had the pleasure of getting to know Kash over the last, 4 or 5 years now. Kash started a business here in the Richmond area. We've met through various senior networking events. Always been very impressed with Kash's positive outlook, his business savvy, his connections in the community, and his dedication to it. When you and I first met, I know that you have a home care business, and I think you probably still do.
I do.
And then you've expanded your business to Covenant Columns, which I understand is a care home, a residence
Assisted
home.
living.
So I'd love to learn a little bit more about that. But as we get started, tell us about how you came into the senior community, because you're obviously very integrated with it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me here today. So I came to this country when I was 21 years old.
Wow.
With $65 in my pocket.
Oh my goodness.
Since then, I've done my part in corporate America. And when my parents started to need some care at home, and I became one of the caregivers for them 7-8 years ago, I began to understand that is the field that I wanted to be a part of
Because of your help, you're helping your parents.
I still am the caregiver for both of my parents.
Good for you.
And they, for the most part, live with me and my brother, and we take care of them. So I became part of that, kind of organically.
Right.
And then I opened Reliable Home Care as a
Right.
home health company 7 years ago.
Great.
And since then, I've expanded, like you said, into assisted living.
Wow.
So my passion is to help the seniors live a graceful life in their golden years.
Good for you. It's very impressive. As a small business owner, I certainly appreciate the work that's been involved in starting your first business and then to expand into another. My hat's off, and I've always admired what you're doing. I've thought about that aspect of the business. Tell me what inspired you to expand into another avenue with respect to Covenant Columns, and what differentiates that versus other types of assisted living.
Absolutely. So as part of the home care, as you know, we're going into assisted livings and serving people at their homes or
Sure.
wherever they're living, seniors. So I felt a need that some of the larger assisted living facilities, they're providing great care and everything, great infrastructure. I was very impressed when I saw a few smaller settings where
Right.
it's like in-home, where I would feel comfortable placing my parents if I ever needed to help in a home-like setting.
Sure.
So I was gravitated to that model where
Yeah.
it's on one-on-one, and that's exactly what we provide, is one-on-one care in our group homes.
But in a more
assisted living.
intimate environment,
Intimate
because
environment.
there's wonderful large assisted living communities in town, in the area, but that can be intimidating for someone, depending on what their needs are and what their levels of care are.
Correct. I'll give you a quick ratio. In larger facilities, the ratio of caregiver to residents is more than 1 to 10, sometimes goes to 1 to 20. Our ratio is 1 to 5.
Wow.
So one caregiver for 5 residents maximum, and we provide, that's how we have eyes on them throughout the day, supervision, and make sure they are engaged in conversation, and my staff knows them personally, sometimes even better than their family does.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's a wonderful outlet or option for people who have those needs. I've noticed around the country there's more of a prevalence of care homes in other areas of the country, usually not as much here in Richmond. So I think that's a need that isn't as well met as in some other places. I've seen in our experience in working with families that sometimes people who find a care home as being the right fit tend to need a little bit more care. Do you have any specific levels at which you will take someone, or does it vary across the whole spectrum, and what's the assessment like?
Right. So we have on both ends of the spectrum of assisted living. On the other side is residential living, which
Okay.
we inherently get the license for. So anybody who is mobile and can do most of the activities of daily living also live in our group homes or community. And people who are bedbound, who need complete care,
Okay.
can also move in, unless they need, wound care is something we don't do.
Right.
Don't
But
do.
they
It
could
would
bring
be-
that in.
Then they bring that in, and that's where we partner with companies like yourself and Home Health and PT/OT
Sure.
that bring in the expertise, and we can provide that. So we pretty much take residents from all the spectrum of help needed.
I see. Very good. And then, so in your community, how many total beds are there in your residence?
So I have two locations. I have one location in Richmond, which is licensed for 16 beds.
16.
So it's a little bit, small, but towards the medium side.
Right.
And then we have a boutique community in Mechanicsville, which is 8 or 9 beds, given how many beds we fill, whether they're shared or not. So that is more catering to one-on-one care.
Yeah.
Where families, we get referrals from word of mouth. One family moves in, they recommend someone else over there. So it's a very limited.
That's amazing, and it's very helpful for me to understand as well. We work throughout the whole community, and our representatives are always looking for the right fit for our clients, whether it be home care with us or finding the right assisted living memory care environment. In summary, with your locations, you having one location with 8 beds, another with 16, I assume that you can go, as you said, you can go from a limited amount of care on up to full care. That includes memory care and dementia as well.
Correct. So we call it continuum of care. So if they would like to live in their home, they can continue. Once it becomes difficult or not probable to be living in home or getting home care, they will move in as kind of higher end of residential living, and they will age in place at our facility, and we'll take care of them as a long-term care facility.
Very good.
Yes, yeah.
Kash Mohammad of Covenant Columns. Kash, I've always been impressed with the way you do your business, and really have enjoyed getting to learn more about what you're doing now. Glad to be in touch. Thank you for being
Glad to be
today.
here, Jay.
It's great
Thank
to
you.
have you. J-Man signing off on another episode of 𝗝𝗔𝗪𝗧𝗛. Thanks, everybody.